Well, I'm going to begin, Davis, by asking, I mean, I read that there was talk of this being a narrative feature initially, and I was just wondering how it came to be a documentary, and you must be pretty thrilled it was a documentary, because no one can play Malala like Malala.
Well, Walter Parks and Laurie McDonald are these famous producers, and they ran DreamWorks for 9 years. They made Gladiator and American Beauty and many other great movies. They got the life rights and were going to make a movie. And they met with Malala and her family, and they said, who could play Malala? And they said it should be a documentary, and they called me.
I mean, it's one of those stories where I'm sure there's so many documentarians are desperate to take it on. I was just wondering how you came to be the person involved, and also...
Why did they call me? Oh, Michael Moore, Errol Morris. All those people weren't available. I was at the bottom of their list.
The thing I love most about Malala was the movie is just Malala herself. She's so personable and just so, for use of a better term, just bloody lovely.
Yeah.
You must have grown so fond of her over the course of shooting. Have you stayed sort of quite closely in touch since?
You're not supposed to fall in love with the people you make your movie about, but I love this family. They're really, really quite amazing. And I think that was the point, that I didn't want to make this documentary that was like spinach. You know, it's like, eat your spinach, it's good for you. I didn't want to make that kind of movie. I wanted to make a movie that was challenging and gripping and inspirational. Not a movie that you have to see.
Because my favourite scenes was just when she was at home, sort of annoying her two younger siblings. Is that the kind of side you wanted to capture, the very human side to Malala, the one away from the talk shows and the kind of talks at sort of UN, but the one at home?
Well, I don't set out to say I want to do this. I try to meet people who are in the movies I make and try to capture what I see. And I saw this girl who was, on one hand, walking into the Oval Office and asking the president a really difficult question, like, why are you sending drones into my country? And then going home and opening up her laptop and looking up at pictures of Brad Pitt. She is two people. In one sense, she's a leader of young girls and a really important spokesman. On the other hand, she's a teenage girl who's at home worrying about the length of her skirt and hitting her brothers.
Because I imagine... Because I was so kind of touched by her relationship with all members of her family, in particular her father. And you've got 3 children.
Yeah.
I thought I'd tell you that rather than you've got 3 children.
I do? I only had 2.
2? Shit. I'm just wondering...
Are you allowed to say shit on your website?
Yeah.
Okay, shit. Okay.
And I was just wondering, when you're kind of there and away from home and focusing on what is a very beautiful father-child relationship, I was just wondering if it made you sort of miss home quite a bit where you were... out.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing is that I've directed movies, I've directed television and some commercials, and when I have been away from home and I come home and my children say, "What have you been doing?" And I can't in my heart say that what I've been doing is worth missing them. That breaks my heart. But here in this case, I would say I'm telling the story of this girl. And I can say to them, this is why I wasn't at home. This is such an important story. And now, after all those 2 years, I've shown my kids the movie, and especially my daughters are very proud. In fact, my daughter saw the movie last week, and she texted me. This is how daughters talk to their fathers now. She texted, she goes, "I'm very proud of you, Daddy." And having a teenage daughter, those are I'm very proud of you, Daddy. I don't know, 6 words. Those are the best 6 words my daughter's ever spoken to me, and probably 3 more than she's ever spoken to me.
And as the title suggests, I mean, Malala's relationship with her father is so essential to this story. I was wondering, is that something that you discovered along the way, or something that you sought to explore right from the offset?
I set out to do that. I think a lot of times when people tell a story from this part of the world, they get into the geopolitics of it, the rise of the Taliban, the Russians, the Americans, why this messy part of the world? And I think sometimes we forget the human beings that are involved. And so my idea was to really focus in a very personal way on a father and a daughter. And at the heart of the story, what is the nature of that relationship? I'm a father, I have 2 daughters. I wanted to know, why did this girl feel so confident and so brave? Why did she feel like she could risk her life to speak out? If I thought I could crack that answer, that I could be a better father. And then the other stuff, people will go and figure out.
And I mean, the film is exceedingly emotional. One thing I've always struck me about your films is that you've managed to be educational and quite emotional at the same time, which I think a lot of documentarians, they're one or the other. I was wondering how you go about striking that balance, and if it can be quite a challenge, particularly in the kind of post-edit, to try and ensure that it can enlighten and kind of move audiences at the same time. I
think it's an incredible time for documentaries. If you look at a movie like Amy and other great documentaries, they are experiences. And in many ways, I find them more moving and more dramatic and more inspiring than dramatic movies with actors because they're real. And I think what's so exciting now is that the methods and the storytelling in documentaries, we have animation in this movie. We have the music from Thomas Newman, who's just finishing the Bond movie right now. I want all the elements of a great movie in this because I want girls, especially everywhere, and kids everywhere to feel like this is an experience. It's not just this movie that someone told them that they should see and that it's a chore. I want them to be inspired and to be moved.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!